All right, welcome to another edition of the Stay True podcast being brought to you by T.R.U.E Coaching, where triumph requires unlimited effort. I am your host and facilitator, Lamont, and today we have Mr. Brian Gray. How you doing, sir?
Hey, pretty good, Lamont. How you doing?
I'm doing good, bro. Always.
Good.
So, Brian Gray, I know you for many years, man, but the people who may not know who you are, man, go ahead and introduce yourself to the folks, man.
Sure. I appreciate it. Again, my name is Brian Richard Gray. I was born and raised in St. Joseph, Missouri. And I, grew up in St. Joe, grew up in a primarily Black community. My father passed away at the tender age of about 16, 17. I was a senior in college when he passed away. His name is Clarence Gray, senior. And my mother is still living. Her name is Billie Jean Gray. And hey, man, I'm just a kid from St. Joe, man. Grew up in a very loving home. Got two brothers. One passed away a couple years ago. His name was Clarence Gray Jr. We called him brother. My oldest brother is still living. His real name is Larry Michael, but we call him Mike, and Big Mike, that is. Yeah, man, my mom still lives in St. Joe. She's retired. She's 90 years old, dude. And, she still drives, still gets around, still has the activity of her limbs. Her health is relatively good for the most part. She's got a sharp mind, and, I've been blessed, man. I really have. I got two sons that live in Chicago. They live with each other, and, they're doing their thing. And, I'm just very proud of them and what they're doing and what they're accomplishing. So, so that's pretty much about me, man. I graduated from Central High in St. Joe, did a few years at Central Missouri State University, transferred to Missouri Western State University and graduated from there and got my Bachelor's of Science of Business Administration, emphasizing in marketing and management. I've done corporate sales for I don't know how long. That window of opportunity has closed its door, and God has moved me on to be an entrepreneur, something that I've always longed to be and wanted to do. Just couldn't figure out what direction I wanted to go, where I actually fit in, so kind of figured that out here in the last few years. And so I'm moving forward, trying to be an entrepreneur, trying to help people in the area of consulting, small to entrepreneur to startup companies in the areas of
Oh,
marketing, sales, customer service, and one-on-one coaching.
so B, as we affectionately call you, but reason why I let you talk a little longer is because it sets the pathway to our discussion. And our discussion is about networking, it's about building relationships. And so by you talking about your family, the way you talk about your family and how detailed you are about your who you are, it speaks volume to why you're good at networking, why you're good at building relationships, because it's in those details when you're building those relationships. I would think that people can connect when you take the time to remember little things about people. It's easier for them to want to connect with you. So talk to me about, and if I'm right or wrong, go ahead and speak to that. But talk to me a little bit about your formula for networking, man. Your formula for building relationships.
Yeah, it's a good question, man. I think really my formula is it's really built on one thing, man, and one thing only, is just being authentic, man. Being uh, not always having ulterior motive as far as trying to get to know someone. just having a genuine interest in what they're doing, and and caring about what they do. Um, I think that's a big part of building relationships, and that's what I do. Like, I go in, I talk to people, I really get to know them, and get to know the details, as you would say. There's some nuances that I pick up about their lives that I try to remember, and to remind them in the conversations that we have later on. And I think that uh, is a knack that not everyone has, that I bring to the table, that allows me to enter in people's lives a little deeper. And and what happens is, as you do that, I think if you want to call this a formula, if you will, but what happens is, when you begin to learn about people, and you learn about their nuances and their, some personal things about them, and then you remind them of that, man, it just really opens up the door to build a relationship, a genuine relationship, and what we call is networking today, right? So, and I think, I think if you're going to be a good networker, you have to come with the heart of, I genuinely want to build a relationship with this person. I see something in this person that can, contribute value to me, and then vice versa, I contribute value to them. So it's that value proposition type thing. I got value I can bring to you. You got value you can bring to me. But it's got the whole foundation has to be built upon a genuine interest in that person's lives.
You're listening to the Stay True podcast, brought to you by True Beast Coaching, where triumph requires unlimited effort. We have again Mr. Brian Gray. Brian, as I'm listening to you talk, man, I'm listening to a man who pours his heart out into everything that he does, man. And so I know for myself that, again, like, the networking and building relationships is the two components that I know, those two horses that drive everything about who you are. But I remember the days of undergrad, and this dude used to walk around with this suitcase. I'm like, what is in this dude's briefcase, I should say? I'm like, man, I didn't know what was going on.
Right.
Bro, but tell me, where does this all start for you, man, as far as understanding the what relationships can do?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. No, I appreciate it. I think it really all starts with my dad, man. Growing up, seeing my dad, uh, you know, relate with people, all sorts of people in St. Joe. And, it was something that was caught, not taught, right? I mean, like, I saw my dad, he was networking, he was always talking to people, getting to know people, and in whatever space that he moved in, I actually saw him just build relationships. And so that really did a lot for me, and it was something that I caught. And then, as I began to catch that, as I began to acquire that skill, if you will, it went through high school. My niece will tell you, Jennifer, she'll tell you, she says, yeah, Uncle Brian used to walk around, he's a nice, sharp dresser, had a briefcase, would walk around and stuff, and all that. And so that was kind of that was my thing. I always wanted to look professional, wanted to look apart, so on and so forth. And so that just carried into college. And, I just really, I massaged that, and personalized that in college. So, started carrying a briefcase, looked nice, things of that nature. And so that was just really part of my persona. And so I, I never left that, took it into the corporate world, so to speak, probably dialed down a little bit, because you have to adjust according to the environment that you're in. But it's never left me. And when people take you seriously, when you look serious, right? So if you dress apart, you look professional, you talk professional, then people take you seriously. And so it's just been something that's been with me all this time. And it's just now I've seen where it's paid off a lot in my professional career. And it's a part of my business and who I am. And and it's effective. I mean, it's just me. That's just who I am.
Again, you listen to the Stay True podcast brought to you by T.R.U.E Coaching, again, where triumph requires unlimited effort. I mentioned that triumph requires unlimited effort again because I know in the course of building relationships, building the network, it just don't happen overnight. It takes time. You got to keep on keeping on, keeping on, keeping on, and then I'm sure it becomes. So in the previous part of your discussion, you talked about appearance. In the realm of business, that's called branding. So in the so as we transition to branding, again, talk to me about your consulting company and how you're going to help people with their brands.
Sure. So, you know, part of the reason why I decided to do consulting was, you know, I would always be around a lot of small business owners, um, and I would actually see the challenges, from an external standpoint, the challenges that they would go through. And a lot of the challenges have to do with uh, sales, marketing, customer service. And, you know, they have a great product, but they don't really know how to sell it, how to market it, and even how to provide good customer service to their customers. I mean, those are areas that I really see a lot of small businesses not doing very well in. And so, um, what I want to do is provide uh, a sounding board, if you will, to small businesses to help them in those areas. And a lot of it will come through an evaluation or analysis of their business um, and the recommendations that I give them. Um, and so that's kind of the approach I'm taking. That may evolve over a period of time. But I definitely see a need. It's just a matter of getting owners, entrepreneurs, startup companies to see the need. I see the need, and but they have to see the need too. And as a consultant, you know, hopefully I can provide some value to those individuals as they go through their journey trying to get their business started, or if they have an existing business, how to uh, you know expand their business, their base, and become better at what they do.
So for me, Brian, again, because I've been knowing you for so long, um, and I know you're very good at what you're very good at. Tell me, and I know you're very athlete. You into sports. I never seen you do any sport at all, but I know you say you're athlete. Tell me how that competitive drive is going to help transfer over to your customers.
Yeah, so you know, I think uh, I think one of the things is that I constantly want to win. I want to see people win. And so, I've been on good teams, I've been on bad teams. I've always stayed competitive for the most part. And, at the end of the day, I mean, I think you win regardless, whether you lose, you still win because hopefully out of that loss, you've you've learned something. If you win, then you just keep on winning. And so, and those are the type of things that um, I'm trying to communicate and infuse into my brand and who I am, and how we all can win together. And so, my approach is more of a team approach. It's not, I'm this consultant and they are this business owner. I know more than them, because I don't. Um, but there are areas, as you mentioned, that I've been doing for a while that I specialize in. And I have some examples of companies that are doing well and companies that are not doing well, and being able to draw upon uh, the companies that are doing well, that are winning, being able to draw upon that to show how well, you as a business owner, how well you can do, how you can win. And so I'm very competitive. I want to see people be successful because I want to be successful. And so, I the thing is, when I take on a project, I'm going to pour my heart and my mind and my soul into it. Whether or not they listen or not, still going to, put my heart and soul into it, and provide the recommendations that they need to be competitive and to be able to win.
I'm not sure if you mentioned it before, but state the name of your company because I'm looking forward to seeing all the fruit, man. I don't listen to talk. I know it's gonna be a lot of fruit that's gonna be planted and grow. And so tell the people the name of the company so they can be looking for that.
Yeah, so it's called BR Gray Matters, BR Gray Matters Enterprises LLC.
So where that name come from besides being your name in it?
Yeah,
Where did it come?
so I think the part of, well, obviously the name came from my name. I mean, I wanted to put a personal imprint on my company. And so, the BR Gray, was, that's my name, right? Brian Richard Gray, so BR Gray. And then, the whole matters thing is, I matter. I matter to my clients. And so, that's the message I want to communicate to my clients is that, hey, BR Gray matters to you. And so, and I'm personalizing it to each and every client that comes on board. So, and the whole enterprise thing is, I didn't want to be just locked into the whole consulting thing, because there are many arms to my business eventually, but consulting will be the base, and then there'll be some things that will spring out from that I think that bodes well with, what I'm trying to do.
Man, just on a lighter note, man, I don't know why I thought your middle name was Rufus, but it's Richard.
It's Richard, yeah.
Okay.
I was named
Okay.
after my actually my favorite uncle. He's not living anymore. His name was Richard Kirby, and he lived in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Big old tall guy, dark skinned brother with a nice shaft afro, right? And he was a union official, man. And so, very intimidating dude, but I mean, but I love my uncle, man. I used to love when he ride up in the St. Joe in his nice Lincoln Continental, and used to spend some time with the family. And after a while, I learned what he did, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. So I was always very proud to be named after him. So
that's awesome. There's several different reasons why I had you come on, man, because there's so many, especially in the midst of like COVID right now. I mean, there's people trying to redefine themselves, their personal lives as well as their businesses. So it's important to, as they define their business or even to launch businesses after, in the midst of COVID, man, to understand how to maneuver, how to get around this thing. Because like you was talking about earlier, the environment that you were in when you were in corporate kind of boxed you in, right?
right.
So now there's people trying to step out of the box. And so I'm gonna give you a scenario and briefly tell me this. So you're in a room, there's a lot of people of influence in the room. You already know that going in, right? And
Right.
just so happens one of your clients is with you. How would you teach your client how to navigate in a room of people of influence?
Well, a lot of it has to, depend on my client's personality and what they're comfortable with. I always say that it's very important in those environments to, if you don't do anything else, have some business cards and something that you can actually give uh, those people that are in the room. And a lot of times, depending on the size of the room, the number of people that are in the room, you're probably not going to be able to get to all of them. So, my job would be to probably introduce that individual, more of a soft approach, especially if they're not used to being in those type of environments and meeting people of that caliber. um, you know, I would, take more of a soft approach and kind of navigate them through. If I know the people and I know their personality, kind of take that individual to those individuals that would probably be receptive to who they are and what they represent. So, and that's kind of how I would navigate the room with my client. Um, but again, it depends on my client's personality, what their comfort level is. Have they been in these type of environments before? But but one thing would probably be consistent with what I would say to each and every client is that make sure you have some business cards that you can hand out, because at the end of the day, being able to leave something behind for someone to think of, to remember who you were is powerful, man. Spending that $50 or $60 on some business cards is well worth the investment.
So and I'm hoping people learn from that little bit of conversation is that, and this is what I've learned over the years with you. I'm pretty much who you are is who you are. There's no phoniness about who Brian Gray is. But one of the things about you though, Brian, is that you're not afraid to be in a trench with people. So this
Right.
is why I want to talk to you in this type of form and platform about your business, because who you are is going to translate over to you as a business owner. You're going to get in the trench with your clients. You're going to give them all that you have, whether it be big or small. You want the guys that give your shirt off your back to somebody. So that's why I wanted to get this out, because it's going to translate. I'm looking for and expecting great things out of the company, man, because I expect a lot out of you. You've given so much of yourself to people over the years, and I know it's gonna work for you in business, man. So again, I applaud you in stepping out on faith, man. It's a big task to be in business first and foremost. And anybody who is listening, who's on that edge, go ahead and take that chance, because it's gonna be definitely worth it. And Brian Gray is an example of what faith can look like if you just take the chance, take the step. Now, Mr. Gray, this is the point in time of what we do where I throw out some words, right? I throw out some words.
Okay.
And you briefly tell me what comes to mind when I throw out words that you're going to receive. You ready?
All right. So repeat the
So I'm gonna give you
instructions.
a word, and you
Okay.
tell me what comes to mind when when you think of the word that I'm giving you.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna throw you some underhanded ones. All right. Now, first underhanded pitch, since you like baseball, is family.
Love.
When I throw out Black economics,
Um, purposely driven. Purposely driven.
when I throw out the word, and this is, don't take this personal, but when I throw out the word small framed, I'm gonna tell you why I
Small.
said that. Yeah,
Small frame.
short.
uh, the first thing that comes to mind is the story of Zacchaeus in the Bible. When Jesus spoke to Zacchaeus, I think, that's one of the stories that really ministered to me as a short guy.
Tell us a little bit about the stories for people that don't know about it.
So, Zacchaeus, he was a tax collector, and really no one really liked him. He was a short guy, according to what the Bible said. And, he wanted to meet Jesus. And so he was like, got up into this tree, and, he was waiting for Jesus to make his entry. And Jesus actually, he caught Jesus, or Jesus he caught Jesus's eye, and so Jesus began to have a conversation with him. And I think a lot of times, what it speaks to me is that Jesus, uh, set aside some time for a guy like Zacchaeus, even though the guy, he was a tax collector. He was not very popular among the people, and he was a short guy too, which really ministered to me. But that Jesus wanted to meet him and wanted to, minister to him. And I think what it says to me is that Jesus really, no matter who you are, short, tall, black, white, you know, economic status, rich or poor, whatever, we all matter to him, and that he will take time out for us. And so, and that's the reason why my faith in God is so important, because and why and how that is infused into who I am today. And so it's just always been that story that that's always ministered to me.
Again, you listen to the Stay True podcast, brought to you by True Beats Coaching, where triumph requires unlimited effort. I'm gonna tell you why I like what you just said, because I know you, and a lot of people know this part about you, is that the lengths that you will go, not even just for yourself, but for the people that you care about. Again, this is why I know it's gonna translate really well for you in business, man. So now, as we close, this is the part where I allow people to have the floor, but I want you to speak life into somebody's business right now, right? As if they're one of your clients, if they're one of your family members that's about to start a business, right? I want you to speak life. You got the floor.
Yeah, sure. So, I think, starting a business it's a dream, right? I mean, it actually starts with a dream. It starts with uh, conceptualizing, you know, based on the gifts and the talents and the skills that God has given you, conceptualizing what you want to do, as we all go, or as those of us who choose to to be entrepreneurs, uh, you know, um, how important that is to conceptualize that, to have a dream. And so for me, I don't know exactly when that dream came about. I mean, I've always dreamed to have my own business, but I don't know exactly when it really started manifesting itself. But I would just say, man, if you have a dream to be an entrepreneur and start your own business, it may not happen when you first receive that dream. It may take some years. It may take you getting laid off several times or getting fired from a job, or, a combination of both, or a pandemic, whatever, whatever, whatever external force it is that happens to you, embrace it and run with it. And don't be scared. Don't allow fear to get in your way of pursuing your dream and living out your dream. Um, and it's not going to be easy. Sometimes you might have to do some different things to keep the business going. You might have to work a part-time job or whatever to be able to pay the bills until you get your business up and going. But I would just say, don't let your fear, first of all, concentrate on the dream and allow and never give up on the dream. Don't let your fear get in the way, and pursue it with all your heart. And I think the other thing is very important, and which I have done in the later years of my life, is you have to surround yourself with mentors and with people who are going to be your rallying audience. People who are going to, support you and give you words of encouragement. And you also, you need to have a mentor. I'm a big believer of having a mentor. It's very, very important. And if you can find, and you can have more than one mentor, but the more the merrier. But definitely have at least one mentor in your life that you can go to, and preferably that person is a business owner themselves, because you kind of get, you not only get the emotional support that you need, but you also get, you get the business support that you need, right? So I think, those are the things that I would say to a person that is seriously wanting to pursue their dream of being an entrepreneur, small business owner. Just don't give up, and, incorporate those things that I just spoke about.
Bro, thank you for the words. Thank you for your time. Thank you for you know, basically, man, all that you've given so many people, man. And again, the a lot of the stuff I wanted people to see how strong your faith is, and I wanted them to understand the faith and fear. It's like Superman and Bizarro. It's the opposite. You look in the mirror, it's the reverse, and that's what fear is to faith. And so it's important for not necessarily for you to always have the absence of fear, but your faith has to be even stronger than your fear. And that's one of the things I hope that people are able to hear and see in your fruit that's about to become a Brian R. Gray Matters Enterprise.
PR Gray Matters.
Okay.
PR Gray Matters Enterprises.
All right.
Yeah.
Whatever, man. Whatever I want, I'm expecting great things out of it, man. I am, man. So, hey, Brian, once again, thank you so much for being a part of today's discussion. And again, this has been Stay True Podcast. Look at and view and follow us on all our social media outlets, whether it be YouTube, whether it be TikTok, whether it be Instagram. Go to TrueBeastCoaching.com and book your coach today. Thank you so very much for listening to us today. I'm your host, Lamont. And remember, triumph requires unlimited effort.